So you got around the course before in one of the other vehicles?
Yeah, I was in one of the Wranglers in the Rubicon.
Yep.
And it was cool. It's a neat course.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
They said that you guys set it up.
Yeah, we typically, everywhere we go, we build our own courses because we have sort of guidelines that we like to use, and we like to make them dramatic, right?
Yeah.
Make them fun for everyone.
And it was pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
There was a point where we were like this.
There's going to be a lot of points like that, yeah. That's probably wasn't the last time that'll happen today.
Yeah.
So you went around in the Rubicon. That's a pretty capable vehicle, right?
Yes.
What you're in now is the Range Rover Evoque. It's basically our smallest size Range Rover. It's really designed in a lot of ways for folks that live in urban areas, but yet it has all the off-road capabilities that its bigger siblings have, like the Range Rover and Range Rover Sport LR4, which we also have out here on our course today. It's kind of been redesigned somewhat for 2014. It has a completely new drivetrain system to help give it not only better fuel economy, but better off-road performance as well. And it has a 9-speed automatic transmission too, which is, yeah, it's quite a few.
Gracious.
Yeah, so.
Oh, look, it's got a dial.
Yes, this is the dial for the transmission. This is instead of the big stock or the big lever, simple dial operation there.
Hi. Oh, and we've got a nice big sunroof up there. Holy moly.
Helps Raymond not feel so claustrophobic.
Yeah,
that's true.
In the back seat.
I promise not to throw up on your seat.
It's actually a lot of room back there.
For your photography.
That's true. That is. This is a automotive interior videographer's dream.
Yeah, it is.
So we're just driving along right now in first gear to try to keep the speeds down, because you can see the terrain's kind of technical. We want to try to be careful about the ground clearance of the vehicle, because it has, you know, enough ground clearance for what we're doing, but it doesn't have a lot of extra ground clearance, I guess we could say. So we're trying to manage that by watching our speed basically through here.
Yeah. Oh, and it's really telling you what. It's telling us what you're doing.
Yeah, so we've got a 4x4 information screen. Tells us a lot of information, like what gear we're in. You can see the direction of the wheels are actually indicated right on there too. Sometimes you get in mud and things, and you lose all track of where the wheels are pointed. So it's nice to have a graphic that lets us know. Tells us how much power is going to each one of the rear tires in particular.
Well, a lot of us photographers are a bit techie like, and we like our information, and we like all of our, you know, we like to be able to really delve into it, so that's kind of cool.
Pretty big hill climb coming up here, so we're gonna just drive straight on up, nice and steady. Sounds like you've probably been up it, but when we get to the top, we're gonna level off for a second and then get ready to come down a pretty steep hill on the back side. So stop up here at the top. This is where using first gear comes into play, because it actually helps control the speed of the vehicle again, right? We also have a system called hill descent control, which is a braking feature. So it's on automatically, and what's going to happen here in a second, once I can see where I'm going, I'm actually going to let completely off the brake pedal and let first gear and our hill descent control take us slowly down the hill. And this is always fun for folks, because they just assume the car is going to go racing down. We're going to end up in the little pond down there. But in actuality, it's only going to go 4 or 5 miles an hour max. So I'm going to let off the brake here. I'm not touching anything. And it just basically frees me up to worry about my steering at this point, because the speed of the car is being handled.
So tell me, has anyone that have brought their own cars, have they gone into the pond?
Not unintentionally, I guess. So that's probably a good thing.
Because, you know, if I'm in a parking lot and there's a puddle, I'm headed for it. So you did say that your wife drives a Jeep. What kind of Jeep does she drive?
She drives one just pretty much like the one that you drove, the Rubicon.
Really?
Yeah, she loves it. So we have interesting conversations at our house, because naturally Jeep and Land Rover are sort of at odds sometimes with their like, fan base, you know.
Canon and Nikon.
Imagine that. So those brand battles, I guess, exist, right? So
yeah.
But we have a lot of fun poking at each other.
Well, I gotta say, I would not imagine, having looked at this car from the outside, that it would be like doing this right now.
Yeah, it's shockingly capable, actually, and in a lot of ways, it's one of the more fun vehicles because it's sort of unassuming in the way that it gets around.
I mean, there was one rear wheel way up in the air, but it went through no problem, so.
I know.
Got a little water here. Normally, if you didn't know what was going on, you'd stop and get a big stick and poke around and see what's in there. But we know what's in here, so we're not too worried about the depth or, you know, getting stuck in the bottom.
Safety first.
Safety first.
How well protected is it underneath? Does it have skid plates standard?
There's some coverings for certain aspects of it. Land Rover, on all their vehicles, they do a really nice job in engineering them to have very flat bottoms. There's not a lot of components sort of sticking down that can get caught on things. And so if you were to touch the ground, generally you slide smoothly over it, you know, and so as long as you're not going terribly fast and whatever else, you're generally going to be fine. But there are a couple of key little skid plates on certain items to help protect them.
So, one of the things that I've always heard about Land Rover is that they're always in the shop. Tell me that's not true.
Well, nowadays it's kind of, it isn't true. I mean, what you've had in the auto industry in general is that all cars have gotten better. It's hard to buy a bad car these days, right? And most of auto manufacturing, you know, they get all their components from the same places. Whether, you know, so almost irregardless of the brand of car that you buy now, it's going to have components that came from one or two key places, right? And they've all been proven, you know, to be reliable over time. So.
That's good to hear. I always have. I never put too much stock in rumors like that because I've always heard the same thing about Jeeps. And that Jeep's always gonna be in the shop. No, it's not.
Well, the other thing
I've never had problems with my Jeeps.
Any car dealership you've ever gone to in your life has a service bay attached to it, doesn't it? So, you know, all cars wear out. Their machines, they break and wear out. You know, it's just the nature of the beast. Were there darker days for Land Rover? Sure, but you could say that about any brand, right?
Well, that's good to hear.
Well done, Kevin. Well done. Well done with the tough question.
Thanks.
That was about as tough as I can get. Oh wait, here's another tough question. What's entry level pricing into one of these?
One of these, I have it written down, but it's in another car, and I'm not confident enough to say without checking my note.
Fair enough. We all know it's out of most of our price ranges.
This is a pretty significant side slope right here, so we really take this one very gently.